Hello, and welcome to the 15th video in a series on the tabletop role-playing game Bunkers and Badasses. In this video, we'll be discussing the Psycho skill tree and give a sample build. I'll give a brief description of each skill and my personal opinion. When discussing the sample build, I'll go through the skill taken at each level and my reasoning for each choice. First, I wanted to clarify how the ranged attack is used for the action skill. It gets the same melee bonuses to accuracy and damage rolls as a regular melee attack. It also interacts like a melee attack with archetype feats and class skills. Examples include the Elementalist archetype's Fistful of Hate feat, proccing the Burn Baby Burn skill, the Enforcer archetype's melee bonus, and many more. With all this in mind, I prefer to follow rules as written for the action skill. I use a melee attack once when using the action skill, then use the ranged attack for all other attacks, including the extra attacks. Our first skill is Burn Baby Burn. This is considered the bread and butter of this class. It synergizes very well with other skills. Empty the Rage boosts melee attacks, a solid choice for most builds. Pull the Pin drops a grenade when shields go down. This synergizes well with some skills. Feed the Meat boosts health. This is a decent choice. Starting off the second tier, we have Bloody Revival. The damage boost is risky and situational, so I avoid this skill. Blood Overdrive boosts melee attacks. This is a good choice. Taste of Blood increases the duration of the action skill and gives damage reduction on kill. This is a great skill. Pain is Power is better for ranged builds, but is decent overall. For the third tier, we start with Buzz Axe Bombardier. This synergizes very well with other skills. Thrill of the Kill improves survivability, which is crucial for this class. Light the Fuse deals massive damage when health reaches 0 and can regain health on kill. This is a great last resort. Strip the Flesh improves explosive damage. This synergizes well with a lot of skills. Fire Fiend gives incendiary damage reduction and improves the Burn Baby Burn skill. This synergizes well with other skills related to Burn Baby Burn. Kicking off the fourth tier is Blood Trance, which increases the action skill duration and gives a free use of the action skill. I recommend any skill which grants action skill uses. Redeem the Soul allows the player to take damage to heal an ally. It has limited uses and is very risky. Flame Flare improves incendiary damage and extends the duration of being inflamed. This is a great skill. Bloodbath gives an extra attack on kill once per turn. This is very strong. Fifth tier starts with Nervous Blood, which gives an extra attack on kill from ranged attacks. This is a game changer and can create kill chains. Silence the Voices boosts melee damage. It deals damage to the enemy and yourself when rolling 15 or higher on the special roll. This skill makes you overly dependent on healing and is way too risky for so little benefit. I avoid this skill entirely. Elemental Empathy gives health regen while taking elemental damage. This dramatically improves survivability. The capstone is Release the Beast. This is a risky skill, but when used strategically, it dramatically improves damage per round. Taking all the skills into consideration, I'll now start walking through my sample build. In general, I invest 3 skill points in a tier and immediately move to the next tier to try to access the capstone as soon as possible. I always take the capstone, regardless of quality. To start off the build, I choose Burn Baby Burn. The damage increase is nice, and this skill synergizes with nearly every skill later on. Pull the Pin is a good way to deal damage outside of the player's turn. It will also be useful for creating kill chains later on. Empty the Rage boosts melee damage and gives an additional bonus when shields are depleted. This synergizes well with Pull the Pin. For second tier, Taste of Blood is great for improving the action skill and is a must-have for melee builds. Blood Overdrive is great for alternating between different damage types. At third tier, I take Light the Fuse, which allows a last resort to prevent death. Buzz Axe Bombardier gives the action skill elemental damage, which synergizes with other skills later on. Fire Fiend improves the Burn Baby Burn skill and survivability while inflamed. With fourth tier, Blood Trance will dramatically improve the class's action skill. Bloodbath will drastically improve damage and is very useful for regaining grenades. Flame Flare is a very low-risk choice to improve damage.
Down at 5th tier, Nervous Blood is where the build really starts to ramp up the damage output. The potential for kill chains is tremendous. Elemental Empathy makes being inflamed much less risky. At the capstone, Release the Beast dramatically increases damage when used correctly. Next, I take Thrill of the Kill to help with survivability and be less reliant on potions.
For the remaining levels, I round out the build by improving the established skills. Strip the Flesh is very useful as it synergizes with many skills like Pull the Pin, Buzzag's Bombardier, Light the Fuse, and Bloodbath. Afterwards, Flame Flare is the least risky skill to improve damage. Light the Fuse improves the potential as a last resort option. Burn Baby Burn improves damage further, and by this point the rest of the build has been established to mitigate the risk. Empty the Rage and Blood Overdrive provide very modest improvements, so are a low priority. This class is very diverse and can be built many different ways effectively. It is the definitive melee class for the game and allows for very high-octane gameplay. It does have several limitations, particularly its range, but is potentially the best damage dealer overall. Given the high-risk, high-reward mentality of this class, it is not for the faint of heart. That's it for this build. Let me know what you think of this build in the comments below. In the next video, I'll discuss the 10th of my class builds with the Soldier. Thanks for watching.